The issue of LGBTQ is currently a heated issue here on the continent of Africa, where there are debates mostly against the adoption of LGBTQ and some few also debating in support of it. Now, today's true crime story is coming from Nigeria in West Africa, and it's about two men who sought out a gay man from Facebook in Nigeria and decided that because he's gay, they were going to treat him in a certain manner that is actually against the law, and they felt they could get away with it just because he was gay. Now, the story starts with two men, one by name Kitu, aka Utali Ikwensu. Now, the name Utali Ikwensu is a local Nigerian title or nickname which translates as the devil's weapon or the devil's cane. And Kitu or Utali Ikwensu and his accomplice called Chidi sought out a man from Facebook, and this man seemed to take an interest in them and they booked a hookup session. The man on Facebook primarily engaged just one of them, specifically Kitu, aka Utali Ikwensu. Now, they arranged the hookup between themselves, and the man on Facebook offered that he would pay Kitu 20,000 Nigerian naira after their encounter when they meet. So this was agreed on between these two men, and the arrangement further required that the man they had met on Facebook, an alleged gay man, would have to travel down to the town that Kitu was located at so that they could meet at the agreed hookup venue and then transact, in quotes. I hope you get me. So all was set. The day that they had agreed on came, and this man they met on Facebook actually set out to meet this young man that he had met on Facebook and had developed a crush for. So he traveled all the way, and then he met Kitu or Utali Ikwensu. At this point, everything seemed normal, and the man from Facebook was excited because here is a country that does not support LGBTQ. So for him to find this sort of forbidden love, in quotes, was a joy to him. He felt that he was lucky and he had met this nice looking guy and they were going to have a good time. But little did he know what was in store for him, because when he got to the agreed location and they got into the room they had booked, at this point, Kitu suddenly changed his mood. He demanded that the man should give him the 20,000 naira upfront before they start anything. At this point, the man also hesitated and resisted to comply, indicating that that was not the agreement. The agreement was that I will give you the money after we are done with our session. So it became a heated argument. And it was at this point that the man from Facebook realized that he was in a dangerous situation. And before he could get out of the room, Kitu, aka Utali Ikwensu, the devil's weapon, suddenly pounced on him, trying to wrestle with him because he noticed that the guy from Facebook was trying to swallow his SIM card. Now, it gives an indication that probably the money was on his wallet, on his SIM card. So, in him trying to save himself from being robbed by Kitu, he felt that probably if he swallows the SIM card, then you can't get the SIM card, so you can't take the money off the wallet. And at this point, Kitu's accomplice by name Chidi also barged into the room. So it became a 2 versus 1 situation. And it turns out that this guy from Facebook wasn't a punk. In actual fact, he fought back valiantly. And when Kito and Chidi realized that this guy is proving to be a tough opponent and they couldn't just overpower him, it was at this point that Kito, aka the devil's weapon, actually went for his weapon, which was a sword of a sort, and used it on the guy from Facebook, and in the process unalived him. Now, at this point in time, they realized what they had done, and it still seemed unreasonable, or maybe to a point unnecessary, given that they still couldn't get any money because it was obvious he didn't have the money physically on him. Most likely it was on his SIM card and he had swallowed it, so definitely there wasn't going to be any money given the circumstance. So to even go to the extent of unaliving him doesn't make so much sense, unless you look at it from the angle of they probably did that because, looking at the point the scaffold had got into, they realized if they let him go, he will probably blow the whistle on them. I don't know. But if he blows the whistle on them, he would actually be blowing the whistle on himself too, because, mind you, being gay is currently illegal in Nigeria. So he himself will be implicating himself. But, well, I guess these guys are not as smart to that extent. So they unalived him with the devil's weapon. Now, they tried to carry his remains to a place where they could dispose of it, but unfortunately, they were seen by some of the village folks and they were arrested and handed over to the police. Now, the video you see is they being interviewed by the people who arrested them, and they also narrating what had transpired between themselves and the guy from Facebook, basically admitting what had happened. But then, further investigations would reveal that this was actually not the first time that Kito, aka Utali Ikwensu, the devil's weapon, had actually unalived somebody. Because per investigations, the allegations are that Kito has actually done this before. He has spent 2 years in prison for unaliving a gay man before. And he managed to get just 2 years and was released because his lawyer allegedly pleaded that what transpired between Kito and that supposed gay man, who unfortunately was unalived by Kito, was as a result of Kito trying to defend himself from that man, where unfortunately that man ended up getting unalived at the hands of Kito. So based on that defense, it was successful in court, and allegedly he was given just a 2-year sentence and released. Now, the rumor is when he came out of prison, he felt that he had wasted 2 years of his life in prison as a result of this gay man, and it set him on a path where he allegedly had a personal vendetta against gay men. So the myth or the rumor mill has it that from this point he set out on a personal vendetta of vigilantism against gay men, where he would lure them from social media to his lair and, in quotes, deal with them. Now, there isn't much evidence to substantiate this motive, although it seems something that is possible, but it can't be substantiated at the moment. So this was how they treated this guy. And in as much as the LGBTQ thing has not been legally adopted in Nigeria, I don't think it still gives anybody the right to take somebody's life just because they are in that situation. I don't think so. And rightly so, the law also acknowledged that by virtue of the actions that were taken from this point, because from this point, Kito and Chidi were arrested by the police and taken into custody. And we are waiting to see what would happen to them, but I'm sure the law will take its due course. It's unfortunate that this had to end this way. So for me, the advice I'll give is, whether you are a guy or a lady, please When you come on social media, let paranoia be your guide. Don't believe just anything you see. There are still some genuine people on social media, but when it comes to inviting people into your personal space or venturing into the personal space of people you meet on social media, please let a humble dose of paranoia, due diligence, and caution be your guide, because you could be talking to a serial killer. You never know. Everybody looks nice on social media. Nobody shows you their flaws on social media. Nobody lets you know who they really are on social media. Well, except for a few people. But even with that, they put limitations on it. So, I think the message has been made clear. Be careful of hookups on social media. I have a video. I posted it just about a week ago where there is a whole gang operating in a residential area who are luring hookup girls to their demise in their apartment in broad daylight. And it includes a husband and a wife. That is how serious these things are getting. So please, you can be on social media, but please tread cautiously. Subscribe if you are yet to do so. Turn on the post notification. And let's share comments in the comment section. Wherever you find yourself, what is the current state of LGBTQ there? Is it adopted, or is it something that is still being contested and debated? What do you think about what Kito, aka Utali Ikwensu, and his accomplice Chidi did to this guy? And I think that in the end, his nickname, the devil's weapon, literally manifested in this case. Keep an eye out and stay safe out there. I'll catch you on the next one.